Let's hear what Andrew Wilson says to this single mother, and he starts pointing out the facts and this data and statistics that do not support marrying a single mother. Let's get it.
If you're looking for the best for your own kids, right? Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
Wait,
don't
but
disagree with that at
before I
any
have you answer that, I actually didn't hear you actually raise this from the context of dating. Now, perhaps it's your position. The only thing I heard was just you've heard people say that when it comes to raising children, the outcomes of the children when raised in a single mother household as compared to single father household. But is it also just because Andrew's now in the realm of dating, right?
Yeah.
Are you also have qualms there when it comes to, hey, it's suboptimal to date single moms as opposed to childless women?
Oh, no, definitely not. Like,
Oh, okay.
I definitely
So Andrew, I think her position is simply just the whole single moms raising children, the outcomes for the children as compared to single fathers, not really a dating. I don't think she has qualms on the dating front.
They're much worse across the board.
Okay.
So they're much worse in criminality. And here's why. I'll tell you why this is the case. It's because of the external component of stepdad. So stepfathers are far more likely to abuse the kids. Stepdads are far more likely to have a revolving door, right? Or boyfriends, much more likely to have a revolving door. Single.
Let's talk about that for a second. And I'm going to share with you a personal anecdote. My ex wife had a daughter. She was young. She was about 7 when I met her. By the time we were done, she was like 11, 12. This is not my daughter. This is my ex's daughter. The baby father was still in the picture. However, what my ex-wife would used to do is she would go to work and she would go to work in the morning and come back home late at night. So her job would start at around 1 in the afternoon, and she'd have to come back at 9. So, and I had my business, so I could pretty much roam, and we had a nanny and so on and so forth. But by the time the nanny left, between when the nanny left at 8 and when her mom came back, somebody had to watch the daughter. And the daughter was already in bed, so on and so forth, right? Sleeping. So I had to watch the daughter. This is not my daughter. I used to go into her room late at night while she was asleep before the mom came. And I'd just look at her, just make sure she's asleep, making sure that she's safe and everything. And I'd leave, go back watching TV. But ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake. If I was a dirty, evil son of a bitch, do you know all the things that I could have done to that little child while that baby was sleeping? If I was the most despicable human being on this planet, do you know how many opportunities I had to do things to that little girl? But the thought never even came through my mind, is the point. But here's the main point. The thought has not only crossed the mind of other men to their stepchildren, but they've actually acted on it to their stepchildren. So Andrew here makes a great, great, great point. And I'm going to make a few videos just on this one video because I think it's such a great video. Ladies, one of the things that you miss is when you have somebody else in the home that is not the father, you open that child up to abuse. You do. And I'm talking about SA. It is not the same thing with the child who's with the father. Not the same because the father has power. The mother doesn't. The mother cannot overpower the dude. Can't. A man, children under his watch, can overpower whoever's trying to do whatever to the children. This is why they say single fathers, households are just as good as two parent households. And single mother household suck. They are extremely detrimental to the well being and safety of those children. Just thought I'd point that out.
Dads, that doesn't work that way, right? So if a single dad has another woman who enters in the kid's life, they have a lot more power to do something about any type of problem which may occur, right? Not going to have the same dependency issues. They're not going to have the same revolving door. And so the chance of abuse goes significantly down. So for instance, if I was single tomorrow and I was dating a woman and I saw some kind of abusive tenants, right? Very easy for me to be like, get the fuck out of here, lunatic. And what is she going to do about it? Nothing. But the other way might not be so easy, right? So this is why you generally have better outcomes with single fathers, is because they can actually do something.
Wow. This is the calmest way I have ever seen him explain this. He is explaining it so calm.
When it comes
And do you know why he's explaining it so calmly? Is because of who he's talking to. He's talking to her. This is an older lady, so I can tell that he has some respect for her because she's an older lady that's genuinely asking questions from a genuine place. She is actually listening. You can see, look, she's listening. She's not ranting. She's not trying to shame him. She's not calling him names. She's actually sitting there and she's taking it in. She's looking at him square in the face and she is paying attention, taking it in. This is why he's so calm.
to this idea of abuse, and they are far more likely than the biological dad to abuse kids. Like overwhelmingly. Not all of them do it. In fact, probably most of them don't do it. I'm just saying that statistically, they're more likely to. So that's why the outcomes tend to be better with single fathers than single mothers.
And isn't there data that per capita, looking at children raised by single fathers as compared to single mothers, for example, incidents of criminality?
Yeah, I brought that up. But that's why the incidences of criminality come.
Sure.
So me being single is better for my child? Is it like,
Yeah, honestly, I would say single moms shouldn't date over, like, the kids. I don't want to say shouldn't, because I have no control over that. But I don't know, when the kids are young, can you take a few years off, you know? I mean, go get sex somewhere else, but seriously dating? I don't know.
Yeah, Pearl is making a really good point. When you're a single mother, man, listen, man, look, if you have a child, the last thing I'm just thinking about it from my perspective. If I had if my mother divorced my father, and now I saw my mom, I want you guys to think about this for a second. Say I'm 10 years old. My mom divorces my dad for no apparent reason. And now, over the next 5 years, I see, say, five different men come in and out the house. And my mom is being sexual with them, whether they're kissing in front of me, whether I see him sleeping in her bed, different men, different blah, blah, blah. Psychologically, what do you think that does to the child? Emotionally, how do you think this is my mother and all these different men keep coming in and out the house? They keep coming in my mom's bed and I'm powerless to do anything about it. How do you think that child feels? This is why children today are so messed up. They're so effed up. Why? Because they have seen things that they're not supposed to see at such an early age. Let me know what you think. All right. If you're a single mother, would you bring kids into your home? Or would you rather just do whatever outside the home and then when the child is old enough, then you start doing it? Let me know in your comments. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share notification. We talk about divorce matters because divorce actually matters. Talk to you guys soon. Peace.